Hi, this is Kerry Artek with Wicked Stocks, bringing you video analysis in the NASDAQ-100 Index. That's good for the week of Monday, June 6th, although this video will be posted a couple of hours before Friday, June 3rd settlement, and we'll show some numbers for Friday. These are weekly charts I'm going to be showing you in the NASDAQ-100 Index. Just an FYI, so you know, I do cover the NASDAQ 100 in the form of its ETF, the Triple Q, on a daily basis. I have a daily Triple Q report which shows the same formations on a day-by-day basis and gives early leads on some of these buy and sell signals I'll be showing you. Also, the support levels are more precise on a day-to-day basis. So let's jump to the charts here. This is a weekly chart of the NASDAQ 100 going back a couple of years plus, and there is a descending channel bottom that we've been testing or did test for several weeks in a row. We broke below this channel bottom, throughout the week. We never closed below it on a weekly basis or a daily basis. Never settled below this formation on a daily basis. So for all intents and purposes, it has held. It's at 11,505.46 the week of Monday, June 6th. I'm not giving you the week of Monday, May 31st, despite the fact that we uploaded this on June 3rd, that Friday, because there's no way we're going to see this price point by end of day on June 3rd. So for the entire week of Monday, June 6th, 11,505.46, dropping 104 a week. You can monitor the existence of this significant floor of longer-term support all the way through June trade, really, because it will remain valid so long as that trend line well above the market is not tested. So 11,505.46 is really the beginning of a range of significant long-term support all the way down to 11,183.75. And that is a rising two-thirds speed line, a trend-defining line study I have used for years, projected off that significant March 2020 low. This is, as I've been telling my daily Triple Q subscribers, that it is a range of long-term support that can contain quarterly, possibly annual selling pressures. And it all really comes together nicely by later June. As you can see, the 11,505.46 channel bottom drops and converges to the rising two-thirds speed line, now at 11,183.75 the week of June 20th. Keep that in mind. This is a floor of support, once again, that can absorb selling, I'm going to say, on an annual basis. And it remains in reach over the next 3 to 5 weeks, say as we move into late June, early July, so long as we continue holding below a descending one-third speed line, which we came close to testing this week. And it comes in this week, and I'll give you this week's number because this video is going out before the close on Friday, June 3rd, which is the week of Monday, May 31st. Sorry, that's Tuesday, May 31st, because Monday was Memorial Day. So it's at 12,966.72 this week. I don't expect to see a settlement above it, but in the off chance that we do rally strong into the afternoon and close above 12,966.72 on Friday, June 3rd, then we actually have a buy signal. But assuming we don't, I'm going to give you next week's numbers as well. Bear in mind, the speed line is dropping 140.67 a week, and it drops to 12,826.04 next week. This is what I consider to be a near-term ceiling, that below which the NASDAQ 100 remains on its heels, on the defensive, despite the recent signs of strength and the fact that we tested longer-term support over the last few weeks at that 11,505.46 channel bottom. Despite all that, we can fall back and retest long-term support over the next 3 to 5 weeks into later June, early July, holding below 12,966.72 this week, dropping next week, the week of Monday, June 6th, to 12,826.04. So keep that in mind. This is an area where we could fall off. This is a short setting zone near term. And, from here, we can fall back once again into the 11,200, 300, 400 region, just depending on where all those line studies below the market converge over the coming weeks at that particular time. Now, the real reason I'm bringing this up is because I want to prompt you on what could be a meaningful follow-through buy signal, that if we do close above that descending 1/3 speed line that next week, the week of Monday, June 6th, is at 12,826.04. This week, the week of Tuesday, May 31st, at 12,966.72. If we close above it either Friday, June 3rd, or next week, at the end of the week above 12,826, then we have a meaningful buy signal where we should follow through. Nice recovery. I'm going to give you the 1% levels that in the event we settle Friday, June 3rd, above 12,966.72, it really needs to be by about a 1% margin of 13,096.39. With regard to longer-term line studies, I really do need to see the 1% violation, because if we were to close, say, today at 12,990, just above 12,966.72, that is just too close to call. Would it be an actionable buy signal? Well, sure, but in terms of quote-unquote reliability, not really unless we close 1% or beyond. So I'm just throwing that number out there. And next week, we actually have 12,826.04. The 1% violation on that is 12,952.3. So next week, if we close 12,952.3 or higher, 1% beyond that descending 1/3 speed line, then we should see meaningful recovery through the rest of June and really well into July. I would then anticipate the descending 2/3 speed line. So the descending 1/3 speed line, I can tell you how they're constructed briefly, but I don't want to take up a lot of time. I have shown a speed line construction in other videos, but the real takeaway here that I'm trying to get across is if we close above this speed line next week, 12,826.04 by a 1% margin, then the descending 2/3 speed line, presently at 14,792.5, dropping 70.44 a week, becomes a 2 to 3 month target. We could get up there much sooner, but I think you need to allow 2 to 3 months because on the way up, we actually have a descending channel top that next week is at 13,982.3. So the way I would sort of frame this is if we close above the descending 1/3 speed line that next week is at 12,826.04, the quick 2 to 3 week target would be 13,982.03. And you can see that is dropping at 131.10 a week. You can monitor that channel top as well through July. It becomes a 2 to 3 week objective if we close above 12,826.04. It can contain at least weekly, possibly monthly buying pressures, and we could fall off from there back to the 1/3 speed line that is presently or next week at 12,826.04. And that's why I give that 14,792.5 objective 2 to 3 months. And I say objective if and only if we close above that descending 1/3 speed line that this week is at 12,966.72. Next week, the week of Monday, June 6th, 12,826.04. And so, you can see here, and I'll tell you briefly how to construct these speed lines. It's difficult. I probably should have put crosshairs in it. But you take the high from last November, 16,764.86 against the more recent low in May of 11,492.29. They have to be exact. I'm really into precision. And so the 1/3 upside retracement off that May low against the November high would intersect, or you would use that for that descending 1/3 speed line. So you draw the speed line from that high, the November high, down to the 1/3 pullback in the time horizon in which the low was made a few weeks ago. That's the descending 1/3 speed line. It's a very dynamic approach to trend identification. I've been using it for years. There's nothing 100% in terms of technical analysis, but these work pretty well in terms of identifying resistance and a shifting of momentum, discontinuation of trends. In other words, if we were to close this week above 12,966 or next week above 12,826 by the 1% margin, that would discontinue that bear trend that has been firmly in play for the last few months. And with that, I would expect recovery within 2 to 3 months or less to 14,792.5. And the last thing I will say, by the way, is I do cover the NASDAQ-100 ETF, the Triple Q, on a day-by-day basis. I'm using the same exact line studies, but on a day-by-day basis. I get early signals beyond the weekly charts that occur day to day. So these speed lines, these channel formations are all monitored on the daily charts. And I give very precise support and resistance levels that are great for day traders, swing traders, 2 to 3 week position traders, the traders who like the 2 to 3 month time horizon for buying out of the money calls. For instance, if we were to close above this 12,966 speed line in the ETF itself, you're looking for those out of the money calls that don't expire for at least several months. So you got decent delta on the way up, and you're somewhat immune to the time decay or theta that would occur if you bought, say, an out of the money call that expired within a month, so forth and so on. You know, I think I've covered it all. That's really all that needs to be said. We came off, just a reminder, long-term support a few weeks ago. The big question is whether we're getting any follow-through buying now. And the answer to that, for me anyway, is yes. If we close Friday, June 3rd above 12,966, or the end of next week, the week of Monday, June 6th, above 12,826. Until then, this market remains highly susceptible to falling back to long-term support that is presently between 11,184 and 11,505 roughly. I've given you all the numbers, the exact precise levels. You can monitor them yourself now for the next few weeks. And that's really all that needs to be said. I appreciate you following along this far, and I'll be back next week for at least one other. I'm putting out one YouTube video a week that's free. They will pick up. We're in the middle of some really intense projects lately. And when they all sort of settle out here in the next few weeks, we're going to start offering more frequent analysis on YouTube for free. But keep in mind, wickedstocks.com has a lot of content that we put out every week. 15 videos a week we put out. So you may have a look-see, take it for a test drive. Not all that expensive in the relative scheme of things. And that's all I've got. You have a great week, and we will talk soon.